Well, the First Minister of Scotland, Humza Yousaf, is once again in trouble. Yes, this is about the decision he made a couple of months ago to send taxpayers' money, British tax money, to Gaza. Now, of course, this has become a controversial topic, and actually he's now in a massive crisis because of his links and his family links to Gaza. A lot of people are now accusing him of being biased, using British tax money to do something a little bit potentially, allegedly dodgy. Now, as you guys know, Humza Yousaf has family connections to some people in Gaza and has always been open about it. But there was a decision that was made a couple of months ago that we reported, and we now have more information about it. It sent £250,000 worth of taxpayers' money to Gaza. Now, usually speaking, this is the British government's job when it comes to international decisions, not the what we would call the devolved administrations, like the Scottish so-called Parliament. But anyway, Humza Yousaf decided to use our money to give money to Gaza. Compassionate. But is he? Because his own government advisors, so-called government advisors, advised him saying, well, what we should do, protocol says, if you want to do something like this, between £100,000 to £200,000, give it to UNICEF if you're going to go help the innocent people and children in Gaza. Humza says no. Guess what he decided? He said, no, I'm going to pay even more, $250,000, very specific, and we're going to give it to the UNRWA. That is, the UN agency has now been exposed for being Islamists, basically directly linked to Islamists in Gaza, Hamas and everybody else. Humza decided to give the money to them, and coincidentally, something else happened. Yes, it's just a coincidence, but a day later, when the money was paid, his mother-in-law and his father-in-law left Gaza and were allowed to leave Gaza to go to Egypt via the Rafah crossing. Now, of course, Humza Yousaf and the Scottish government have come out to deny those allegations, saying, no, this was just a coincidence, nothing to do with any of that. But that's not even my problem. I'm not really going to accuse him of that. Could just be a coincidence, right? The problem I have is also the fact that he decided to overrule the official advice and go against the rules. Yes, the Scottish Ministerial Code states that ministers must ensure that no conflict arises, personal conflict, or could actually reasonably be perceived to arise between their public duties and their private interests, financial or otherwise, which in this case includes his family members in Gaza. Now, a Conservative member of Scottish Parliament, Stephen Kerr, who sits on the Scotland's Standards, Procedure and Public Appointments Committee, said that the First Minister has some serious explaining to do, starting with why he overrode officials to take money away from the vital UNICEF water programme to assign it to UNRWA. It looks as if the money was not budgeted and that the First Minister was prepared to bend the rules and not follow procedure. Humza Yousaf has a clear conflict of interest in the awarding of aid to Gaza. Clearly, the fact that so many members of his families are either living in Gaza or are involved with the Palestinian organizations raises significant questions about what his motivation is for using taxpayers' money in the area. By the way, this is his own fault, because Humza Yousaf, the moment he became First Minister and the leader of the SNP, unlike many other politicians, he actually got his family involved in politics and media. He kept talking about them. The first picture he had when he basically got in power, in his own office, he had the family doing an Islamic prayer and taking a picture while they're doing an Islamic prayer. He is one of the few politicians who keeps basically bringing the family in front of the cameras, mentioning them, talking about them, their history and their connections and everything else, instead of actually keeping it quiet. He's boasting about it, and now he's in trouble. Well, we know a lot about your family now, and now you've made decisions that potentially could create some personal conflict. Let me know what you guys think. I'm Tousi, and we are the media.